Hey everybody, I hope you can hear me. Some of you are coming in. Hey Jamie. Hey Chrissy. Hey Creative Notions. Hey Patricia. Hi Sharon. Can everybody hear me okay? Hey Donna. Hi Sue. Yay. I hate to ask that every time, but you never know when I got a new mic from the one that messed up before, and then YouTube messed up, so I want to make sure that you guys can hear. Everybody getting along with all their projects this week? By the way, this is day 6 of the 14 days of Valentine's. I just haven't posted a picture because we haven't made it yet. We're just giving a few minutes for everybody else to come on. How many of you guys that are already here sew at all? And how many of you don't? Hi, Debbie. Hey, Claudia. Sue, you glittered a cup today? Yay, Sue. I'm so excited for you. Oh, good. Hi, Marissa. Haven't seen you in a little while. Good to see you. Well, good. This will be something quick and easy for you. You can, but you haven't in a while. This is a super simple project, guys. If you sew, you got this. It's 5 minutes, really. If you're new to sewing, it might take you 15 or 20, maybe even half an hour, but these are all simple straight lines. And I didn't do a complicated project because you guys who sew, you know how to do complicated projects. Those who don't know how to sew or new or they're just beginning, they need to learn like we did. Before you do anything, learn to make your straight lines. You make curtains from tablecloth. Yeah, I've done that. I made, at Christmas, you may have seen them, Elaine, napkins. I used the cloth napkins and made chair covers. Hi, Nancy. And my machine, I told Jamie and them, you watch, my machine's like 30 years old, maybe even older, and it'll probably give me a problem tonight. Always when it's live, right? Last time I used it, it was doing fine, but you never know. Hey, Pamela. Yay, Nancy, good. This is going to be a quick, easy project for you. So, because we're going to do an iron-on too, guys. We're going to do iron-on and sewing. So we're going to combine the two projects so that you guys can get a peek at the Easy Press too if you don't have one. And you're going to get a little bit of sewing as well. Let me play the intro, guys, and we will get started. Hi, Elaine. Hi, Tabitha. Elaine, no, I am not using any heat and bond. However, if you are using an Explorer or an Explorer Air, you will need to use heat and bond to cut your fabric. I would not do that with a pillow myself. Hi, Kathy. Simply because it stiffens the fabric and you don't want the pillow to be stiff. What I would do if I don't have a maker is I would use my self-healing mat and my rotary cutter. Let's just go over to the project camera. I would use my rotary cutter, my self-healing mat down here, and my cutting ruler, or you could even use the acrylic ruler. And I would cut my fabric from that, guys, because this is, like I said, a super, super simple, easy project for beginner sewers. And it's 3 squares of fabric. So if you can cut a square, that's all you need. And if you have the self-healing mats, or any mat that's lined in the rulers, you can cut a square. And I'll go back over to Design Space and give you the measurements on these, but I believe these two are 11.5 by 11, and this one is I want to say 11.5 by 16, but I could be wrong. I'll give you the measurements in a minute. That's all there is to this one. That's absolutely it. That's all you're going to need. So, yeah, if you don't have a maker, you can still cut this fabric. This is the Yes Please White from Cricut. It's Cricut fabric. It has the dots, the hearts, the arrows. There's another one in there, and I can't remember what it is. I want to say stripes, but I could be wrong. But those 4 patterns come in that pack, and it's the Yes Please. So, matter of fact, let's go over. I'll show that to you guys. It's this one right here. Yeah, I was right. Stripes. Has the stripe. Well, actually, it has. This one has the flowers in it. I don't know where I got the hearts. I don't know which pack that hearts came out of. I may have gotten that pack at Mountain Make-a-thon. Nope, the hearts are in there. Right there. You get 5. That's what it is. Stripes, dots, the flowers, the hearts, and the arrows. That's what's in that pack. We just got started, Robin. You haven't missed a thing. Welcome, welcome. So this is the pack of fabric that I used. And guys, if you use the group code, that's another thing. The group code is no longer April Craft for your 10% discount. It's Maker 10, and it's to my understanding that they are going to change that every 3 months, but that's subject to change too. Oops, thank you. It didn't transition. Is that better? Hey, Alicia. It's this fabric right here, guys. That's what we're using tonight. Sorry about that. Hi, Sheila. Yay, we got Sheila and Alicia and Robin. They're all in the house. And Judy, Danya. Hi, Danya. So this is the one we're going to be working with. And this is your easy press guide, everybody. And we're going to be using that tonight because our first step before we sew this pillow is we're going to do our iron-on. And just because it's easier that way, I went ahead and guess how many times I had to cut this, guys, for this project tonight. I had to cut my black iron-on twice. Why? Because I forgot to mirror. So don't forget to mirror. Make sure you mirror your iron-on. Mirror both of them. This is a Design Space image. However, I sliced the heart out for layering so that I didn't have a thick layer of iron-on on my pillow. So this one's already sliced up and sized for you guys. You're okay. So this I'm going to be using tonight. I am going to be using some black everyday and some foil, and we are going to do a layer on this fabric. For those of you who do not have makers and you want to hand cut this fabric, let me shrink this because it is a large project. You're going to need 2 squares cut at 11.5 by 11 and 1 square cut at 16 by 11.5. So I was an inch off on that one, but that's okay. That's going to create this pillow. Only one of them are marked, and you want to cut your fabric pretty side down. This one has the fabric mark. I have put a crosshair in the center so that you could center your iron-on without a whole bunch of fuss and muss. Hi, Lynn. Yay! I'm glad you could make it. All of you first-timers, welcome, welcome. And as always, if you have a question, put it in caps, and the moderators or myself will try to answer it just as fast as we can. And you can ask your Design Space questions at any time throughout, and we will answer them as we go, or we will go back to them. So just make sure you put it in caps so that we see it. But this is the project, guys. And this can be found on the Design tab for patrons. And you guys, this really can be a public file. It's not that big of a deal. It is Design Space images. But as always, patrons, you get all the files in the Design tab so that they are quick reference for you guys. So let's go over to the project camera and we'll get started. I've already cut my iron-on, but some of you last week were scared about weeding, so I just wanted to leave one piece to show you guys on weeding. And I always start at the top corner after I've cut mine, and I peel backwards. And you're just going to peel that material back. And if you trim it like I did, make sure that you don't have any hangers on your edges, because they will end up on your project. Trust me, I've picked enough off that you would think that I would learn not to do that until after I've weeded, but I don't. But you're just going to take out all the pieces that you do not want. And now we have, if you mirrored, when you flip it over with your carrier up, it should look correct. And let me show you guys, let me just trim this up so you can see it on camera, because this piece, I've got a scrap here. This is what happens when you don't mirror. And let's just, oop, that's my letter. I don't want to get my letter. I can get the edge of it here. When you don't mirror and you're weeding, it's going to look perfectly fine till you flip it over. And some of you, just to help remind you, and I do it too sometimes, but oh, I hit my other camera. I don't when I'm doing a tutorial, because it can get confusing, especially for newbies. But some people mirror before they send it to the mat by reversing it. I left a piece in that other one too. You want to always double check your weeding and make sure that you got everything. So here's the one I didn't mirror. Let me get that piece out before I forget it. Here's the one that's correct that I did mirror. Here's the one when I flip it over to iron on, what's going to happen. That's how it's going to look. It's going to be backwards. So the only way that anybody's going to be able to read that is in a mirror. So make sure you do that correctly. Yes, thank you, Jamie. Now let's go right back over to Design Space, because I wanted to show you the interactive guide so that you guys can see how to use that, especially all of you that are new to doing the iron-on. On some of you who are not new to iron-on, who may not know about the interactive guide. So over here on Design Space, or cricut.com, and we have a link for that too that we post in the group frequently. There's an interactive guide. And what you're going to do is come in here, and we're going to start with the everyday iron-on. And I'm just going to check it because I'm going to start with it. And I am going to go down to my base material, whatever I'm ironing on. And yes, guys, you can iron onto cardstock and chipboard and corkboard and wood. You can do that. But we're using a cotton poly blend. And I am using my Cricut Easy Press mat instead of a towel. And here it tells me to set my temps to 315, preheat for 5 seconds, gentle heat and pressure for 30 seconds, flip it over and press the back for 15 seconds. This is a pillow, so I am not going to flip this fabric over and do it. If it was a shirt and I had double thickness of that material, then I would. So make sure that you guys check your Easy Press or your interactive guide for pressing. And so I'm just going to go ahead and check. This is 315, and then I'm going to check my foil. And it's going on that cotton poly blend too. And it's going to be at 295. So it's going to be a lower temp, and that's perfect. So let's go back over to the project camera. And let's get these are the back pieces, the small squares are your back pieces. I'm just going to lay those to the side. And this is your front piece. And the hearts I know are going the wrong direction for my pillow, but I'm okay with it. If you guys are not okay with it, then you can select another fabric, of course. So I'm just going to turn the Easy Press on. Right here, I hit my button. I'm going to select my temp, and I'm going to set it to the 315 and let it heat up. And 30 seconds is the time I want, so I'm good. However, I'm not going to use that 30-second time, and you're going to see why. I am just making sure that the edges, I've got my iron-on, I am going to fold this carrier, but I'm going to line up the side of my heart with my letter there. And I'm going to give my carrier just a little bit of a press, just so I can see where about the center of my iron-on is. And you can even do it the other way, get the top and the bottom of it lined up. And this is just a guesstimation, it's not exact. But now I have a little crosshair in my carrier. And I'm just going to line that up with, and that was the beep of the Easy Press, it's already heated up. And I'm just going to line that up in the middle of my fabric. And that's one way of doing it with that crosshair, but my crosshair is covering that. So what I'm going to do is with my Easy Press, and guys, if you're using the fabric marker so it marks that crosshair for you, make sure that you do not heat set your crosshairs because it will not wash out if you heat set it. And I just give it a quick little press that way. I do the same with my shirts, and a quick press this way. Just a couple of seconds, you don't need much. And now I have the crosshairs on my fabric to line up my iron-on from side to side and top to bottom. And that looks, I have to stand up, guys, sorry. There we go. And that's pretty much centered. And because I'm layering, I'm going to do mine a little bit different than what Cricut recommends. So you can do it one way or another, but you will have shrinkage if you heat this the whole time. And my little Easy Press 2 is the baby one for this tutorial because my 9x9 is on loan and it won't cover the whole design. So I'm just going to press the first half, and I'm going to press it for about 10 seconds. Then I'm going to press the bottom half for another 10. And all I want it to do at this point is just stick. Hi, Disa. Hey, Debbie. We just got started. So I'm just going to check it. It start to peel. If this was a shirt, I would be doing the same thing. Don't panic, guys. Yes, it's not stuck completely. As a matter of fact, that right there is not stuck at all. It's okay. I am going to place my little heart in there. And then I'm going to take my Cricut sheet and I'm going to press. I want to get that on completely on my mat. I got my small one over here. I do have my bigger mat, but it won't fit here with the camera and everything else. So I've got that on there, and I'm just going to go ahead now and I'm going to press this at 295 because that's foil. So I'm going to take my temp down to 295 on the easy press. So we're just going to wait for it to cool down, and it will cool down quickly. And I'm just going to check, make sure I didn't move my foil. It looks pretty good. And we're at 303. I think that's going to be good enough. And I'm just going to press it for 30 seconds. And your timer will start even. I knew it would go down quickly, so. When you layer Elaine, this sheet, I could have put my layer back on it and tried to cover it well. But oops, and I just turned myself off. There we go. I'm just going to move that really quick and do the bottom since I was almost there. You're going to see when I remove this, anywhere that the carrier from your second layer is touching iron-on the other layer, it could leave a line from your carrier sheet on that other piece. So you want to make sure that when you use this sheet, it stops that from happening. This Cricut mat is on Cricut.com, Margie. It's called the protective sheet. And everywhere that this carrier is laying on that, it may or may not. I'm just going to peel this slowly. This is supposed to be a cold peel, guys, but for time purposes, I'm just going to peel it slowly. You can mess up your foil if you don't. That one's not even on there good yet. Let me see if I can pull it up. But there is a slight line right here where that carrier was, and that's going to happen. But like I said, I'm not through pressing. I just wanted to get a good hold on it. And then I'm going to put this carrier back on after taking that carrier off, and I'm going to give it another little press. And that's why I said, because the temperature at this one being at 315, you can fudge it just a little bit with 295 with the foil and still go on there. So I'm just going to press this for 30 seconds and make sure that I've got all the edges before we start to sew. You don't want to start sewing and that iron-on come off, or somebody playing around with the pillow that you put out and it come off. No, Annie, Cricut is actually pretty fast at shipping. They even opened up another facility in Kentucky, I believe it was. And what used to take me a week to get now takes 2 days. So you have an East Coast and a West Coast shipping facility now. So the shipping times are pretty quick. I didn't hit my button, but I pretty much know. I've done enough iron-on to know when my 30 seconds goes by. Yeah, if you haven't gotten it, this is the thing too, guys. Both shipping facilities does not carry everything. For the most part, they have everything, but they don't have all of it in both facilities. Hi, Ivy. So you may get part of your order, and part of it may come from another facility. When you move this mat, guys, it's hot, so be careful. I'm not going to remove it yet. I'm going to let it cool from that foil iron-on. And that's all there is to using the Easy Press, guys. Very easy. It's been about a week and it hasn't shipped. You need to call them. Something may be hung in the system on that, Annie. Definitely. It should ship usually I get a shipping notification in hours. And okay, yes, Claudia. And I was just about to say, that facility is new, so there's still some training and things going on, and they're still working on logistics. So bear with them, guys, but it is working out. And now you can see I've got a little bit of line. I believe that was on my iron-on, guys, because I had a crease on it, but that's coming off. That's the adhesive from my sheet. But the iron-on is on there, and I don't have any of that shrinkage and all of that stuff from the layering both layers for the full amount of time from the get-go. You want to start just till it sticks, and then heat full time with your last layer. Yes, and don't forget it was a holiday. So there is the front of our pillow. And the next thing you want to do is you just want to check. Make sure that when you do your second square, before you do this next step, that you have it the right way. Because if you turn it this way, it's going to be too short. Don't want that. You want to make sure that this fabric is flush on both sides, okay? And you can use straight pins, guys, or you can use clips. Myself, I use clips. I really don't need anything for a straight line, but beginners, I'm going to suggest that you do. And you're just going to roll this over, I don't know, just over a 1/4 inch, maybe a 1/2 inch, just to give yourself a little bit of a lip. And I'm not even going to clip that yet. This is the way I do it. Some of you may need to clip it or pin it or whatever. My Easy Press is still hot. You can do this with a finger press, guys. This fabric is awesome to work with. You can basically finger press it and put a crease in it, okay, when it's new like this. So I'm just going to fold it over one more time. Just keep it even, fold it over with a little finger press. And then I'm just going to take my Easy Press and I'm just going to sit it on there. Just for a second. And I'm going to come over here and do it on this side. With the 9x9, you can do this in one step. What would you guys say if I said we're almost done with this pillow? You wouldn't believe me, would you? And again, I'm going to check this fabric, make sure that I'm folding on the right side, that I don't have all that overhang. That means it's the right way, and this is the side I want to fold. Just going to give it a little finger press. These do not have to be exact, guys. Fold it over again. If you want exact, kind of look at your, if you're using the dots, kind of looks like a die. That gives you the way I sew, just about a 1/2 inch. You hear the train coming, Sheila? Yep. I hear the train a-coming. I live probably a 1.5 blocks from the train depot, the old 1800 train depot in Hampton, Georgia. I don't even recognize it anymore. It doesn't even bother me. When I first moved here, I was like, oh, I'm never going to get used to that. So there we go, guys. This pillow, I'm just going to stitch a straight line, and I'm going to take you guys over to the other camera. I don't know how much you're going to be able to see with me sewing it, but I set it up so that you could see some of it. So let's go over there and let you see how to stitch this. Now actually, if you're new, you're going to want to either clip or pin all down the side and then remove them as you go. You guys who are experienced sewers, you know you probably don't need to do that. And I do this on the edge right here. I'm just going to stitch right here on this edge, right down through here. And I think that's going to be, I'm going to say it is a 1/2 inch on the, I don't have my glasses on so I can't tell. It's either 3/8 or a 1/2 inch. But just as long as you get close, this project is very forgiving. And all you want to do is just stitch a straight line all the way down. So I'm just going to let it go. My machine has a locking stitch, so I lock at the end. If you don't have a locking stitch, you'll want to do a reverse stitch. And now I have just this little seam right here on that one. Going to do the exact same thing to the other one. From Augusta, Annie, I am about maybe, I don't know, my sister lives in Greenwood and it's about a 3.5 hour ride. So I'm going to say about 2, maybe 2.5 hours to Augusta. Okay, so while I was switching over cameras, all I did was trim the threads off the sides of this, guys. And now I'm going to bring over the piece that we put our iron on. And I will use clips for this for you guys. You're going to take one piece of the fabric and line it up on one side to the right, just like this. You're going to take the other side with your sewn edge. You want that sewn edge to the inside. I'm going to bring one over on this side so that they're both in the center. You want both of these centered, just like that. And then I'm just going to clip that one there and that one there. Then I'm going to come to this bottom edge and I'm going to clip those. And you guys can get these clips on Amazon. They're just, to me, I love them better than pinning. Warner Robins is maybe, it's right there at Macon, and I can get to Macon in about 30 to 45 minutes. Brunswick, that's Savannah. That's about a 6-hour ride for me. 4 to 6. I'm going to say 4, just because of traffic. I'm just going to pull that over. And when you're cutting your fabric on your maker, guys, do not stretch it. Use your brayer to put it down, because it will matter. And I'm just going to hold those there. Now we're going to go back over to the sewing machine, and we are just going to stitch all the way around. All the way around the square. And we're going to use the same measurement that you used when you did these. That's all you have to do. But I believe I did set this up. I didn't mark it, but I'm pretty sure that I set it up for on the outside. I'm going to say the zipper, not the zipper, but the presser foot. And I'll show you what I mean there. And that's where I stitch for this one. Let me go back over to that camera. Is it working? I bumped it. Right here. I'm just putting the edge of the fabric right here on that presser foot. And we're just going to lock stitch or back stitch, whichever you prefer, and we're going to go around the perimeter. Those get in my way. I bumped my fabric over. There we go. And then I'm going to leave my needle down and raise the presser foot and turn the fabric. Put the presser foot down, and that's how you turn a corner. And you will learn when you're doing your seams as you go about how far you need to go to the end to make your presser foot come out even on your fabric. That just comes with time. Let me hit my clear button. Hit the wrong button. I wanted to put my needle down and hit my lock stitch. That's the easy press beeping to tell me I forgot to turn it off. And then I'm going to end with a lock stitch. And I'm going to back up a couple of stitches, and that's just habit for me. You don't have to do that, and trim off the thread. And let's go back over to the other camera. Yeah, the envelopes are so much easier. And they're perfect for beginners. So guys, that's it. We're done with this except turning it and clipping our corners. And I lost, there. You want to clip your corners, but you don't want to clip the seams. And that's just so they don't get bulky. I said seams. Clip the corners, but don't clip the stitches, not the seams. And that's just so you have a nice crisp corner once you turn it. You're just going to reach in and push out your corners. I have fingernails. If you don't have fingernails, you can use like a little wooden skewer that's blunt on one end. You don't want to use anything sharp and poke your corner all the way through and rip your fabric. And then you're just going to turn the other side too. Bring your iron onto the outside. We're just going to push those corners out. Yeah, I would never throw a beginner into a zipper. You need to learn to do your straight seams before you do zippers. And that, guys, is it. That's all there is to this. And as I told you guys on the Patreon video, you're going to need a pillow form or insert. The 12 by 16 is what this is set up for, and they're $7.99 at Hobby Lobby. You can get them, I think, at Michael's too. I don't know if Michael's has them or not, but you can get them $7.99 at Hobby Lobby. I'm sure Joann's has them, and 40% off does work on these at Hobby Lobby, guys. And they put them on sale about every 3 weeks for 30% off. Yeah, you can use your bone folder too pushed out the corners, so they even make one for sewing. So yeah, you're just going to flip it over at this point, and you're going to tuck your pillow in on one end, just like you would a pillow sham for your bed or anything else. And then you're just going to pull it up over and let it go in that end. Done, guys. And we've talked about everything else, and I went live early, about 8 minutes to 10 minutes early, and we have only been live for 42 minutes, and we did this pillow. How quick is that project? If you add cutting time in, it's not half an hour, because we've been going to the site and doing other things and talking, but you can pretty much make this in 30 minutes or less, even for a beginner. They're very, very easy. Hey Stacy, you snuck in on me there. Good to see you. Yay, here I am, guys. So does anybody have any questions on Design Space or the stitching or the Easy Press or your iron-on? And guys, the great thing about this pillow is I don't have to have 10 of these pillow forms. I can get a couple of them for my bedroom or a chair or my couch, cushion, whatever. I can make them. And when this holiday is over, just like I have 2 of them now, I can take this pillow form out, fold up the cover, put it away till next year, and put the next holiday's cover on this. So you don't have to keep buying pillows and having to store these big bulky pillows. Buy the number that you need and just change out the covers. The total cost of this, Debbie, $7.99. Let's see. $7.99 minus 40%. So $4.79 for your form. And the Cricut fabric I got on sale on one of the 50% off sales. So at $12.99, that would be $6.50. Plus I got to use 10% off of that. That would, 6.5, oops, I can't hit my calculator. Minus 10% would be $5.85, and using the group code 2, so my fabric cost me $5.26, but I got 5 pieces for that, so I only used 2 pieces. So I need to divide that by 5. It's $1.05 for each piece. So $2.10 for the fabric and $4.80 for the pillow. $6.90 plus the iron-on, and they were scraps. They were iron-on scraps, guys. So I'm going to say at max $2 worth of, if you have to use a new pack. Depends on the size of your iron-on. And I'm just going to change the cover out. So my next one is only going to cost me the fabric, because I already have the pillow form. So I can save $5.80 off of it. So it's under $10 to make this. There you go, Claudia. Good deal. She just found a 4-pack of the 12x16s for $8.99. So we just lowered the cost there again. Those are $2.24 a piece. So if you buy the fabric on sale at Cricut and use your codes and have access, you got $2.10 in that and $2.20 in the pillows. And the pillows are recyclable, so you don't count those on your next holiday when you make your next covers. So yeah, that's super right there. And guys, the only reason I used a 12 by 16, if you don't want yours to be this firm and fluffy, if you can find a 10 by 12 or something like that pillow form, or 10 by, I don't know, 14, that will even work better, but it won't be as thick and fluffy. The only reason, this was the smallest one I could find on this one, and that's the smallest, or the max size that we can go in design space. So anything bigger than that, you're not going to be able to cut it on your maker in design space. I do not have any videos on selling ivy on Etsy or anything. I do know that, yeah, these make great travel pillows. But I do know that Etsy, I believe you get, I think it's 3 months for a listing for 20 cents, but they do take fees. There are some free websites and stuff like that. You can set up Facebook pages. There are just tons of ways to sell. I teach. I teach you guys how to do things and things of that nature. And I make for family members and friends, but I don't make to go to craft shows and selling and stuff like that. There are some groups out there that are strictly for that. However, that being said, there is a link on Wikipedia, and we have it in the pinned post, so that you can learn how to price your crafts. And I put in a worksheet, and I have a video on that, on how to use that worksheet to price your crafts. And that will include putting your vinyl in and your pillow forms, anything that you use, and getting a price, including paying yourself and what you should sell it for. They may be, Annie. As long as they're not too much smaller, I wouldn't go, this is a 12 by 16. I wouldn't go smaller than a 10 by 14 for this insert. And I forgot, some of you experienced sewers may remember, what's the rule of thumb for envelope pillows? It's 1.5 times divided by 2 of the size of the pillow. You can use any form. I'm going to give you guys the formula. Let me look that up really quick. I don't remember exactly what it is. I believe it's 1.5. I made this file a while back and I just keep refreshing it. Yep, that's it. Let me pull this up for you guys. Here's your envelope pillow sizing. If you have a 14 by 14, which these won't fit on design space, let me see if there's another one. But that's what it is. It's 1 and then divide it in half. Let me see if I can find somebody has to have some instruction on there. I'm sure that they do. Let's just look it up. And that's how you can put piping in there, guys. I just didn't want to do all that with anybody that was new. Here we go. I think this one will take us there. And who is this? I'm not even sure who this is. She doesn't have her name. Oh well. Here, step by step, there's a PDF. Some of these sites will tell you 16 by 16. How to make an envelope pillow. Here you go. 3 pieces of fabric will be the front of your pillow. If it's 16 by 16, then you need to be the front. 6 inches times the width. That's it. 6 inches times the width. That's how you figure out. So you can use any size, but just remember, a 12 by 16 pillow form, you can get by with cutting that fabric at 11.5 like we just did on the maker. But when you get over that 12 inch or that 24 inch, you're getting really close. Yes, there are several videos, guys, out there and tutorials. Like I said, you can do an envelope pillow for any size pillow. Some of them you're going to have to cut by hand because they're just too large to cut on the maker. But right here is the formula. When you cut the back, the best way to cut the one piece on it is 6 inches times the width. So if it's 6 inches added to it, something like that. Yeah, for her 16 by 16, she added 22, so she did 11, and the other one is cut in half. So it's a 16 by 22 and 11 by 16 on both of them. So yeah, Pamela, these are just super simple, guys. But like I said, they make a pillow form. I want to say it's a 7 by 7. There's also like an 8 by 8. Any of those you can make this on with your maker and Design Space. So you can go through there and it will tell you. And see, she's doing the same exact thing we just did. Same exact thing. Hers is just square. So that's the measurements for your square, right there. If it's a 16 by 16. That's what she used here. I think with the oblong like I just did, I can't remember, guys, it's been so long ago. It was the length of the pillow plus a ½ inch, but I had to fudge it because we couldn't go that big with Design Space. And then my other 2 pieces, I divided it in half and added 4, I think it was. Or 3, that's what it was. I added 3 inches. So. But again, if you want to do this one for the 12 by 16, it's a 11.5 by 16 simply because I couldn't go to 12. Or you can cut it by hand and go the actual 12 and it won't be as tight as this one. But I kind of like the tight. They sit up better for photos and all of that kind of stuff. Or for decor. So, but if you want it looser, but by all means, yes, cut it with your rotary blade on your self-healing mats. You don't have to have a maker to make this. And somebody even asked me, yes, you can stitch this by hand. It's going to take you a little bit longer. You're going to have to whip stitch those seams on each end, and then you're going to have to stitch it all the way around. It's the same thing, you're just doing it by hand. So, welcome, Tony. We love newbies. We don't have any problem with that. Everybody has to learn from some point, right? Yeah, that's pretty good, Claudia. $3.94. Guys, anytime you can make a gift like this for under 10 bucks, to me, that's really good. And if you can get it even lower than that, that's super. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. Oh, you're welcome, Sharon. Does anybody have any design space questions or issues or anything that you want to go over? Everybody's understanding slicing and welding and contour and all of that. And letter spacings. Nobody's having any problems this week? And yeah, Diane, there are several videos out there, but we just did it and I showed you guys step for step how to do it. And this will be available for playback, everybody. It's called the protective sheet, Elaine, and I don't know, it's not going to let me post it. If you come over to the group and ask me, I will post you a link for that. It's the iron-on protective sheet. There you go. That's it. You need the directions for Jamie's watch band box. Jamie, I may have to cut one and make it even though I don't have any watches. Just, you didn't do a video, did you? I know she didn't. Annie, vinyl is, I try to tell all newbies, start with iron-on. To me, personally, iron-on is one of the easiest to do, easiest crafts. The main thing with that is you have to remember to mirror. And I, to this day, even today, forget to mirror. And once you have that, moving up to vinyl and doing simple projects, that's going to be your best bet. Start with words. Words are easier, in my opinion, than big things like this big heart. This would be very hard to put on a curved surface. So you want to start with things that are forgiving. If it's all right with Jamie, I will do, I will cut it out of paper because I don't have an Apple Watch, so I don't need the box. I don't know anybody that has one that's close to me, but I will make one out of paper and show you guys how to put it together if that's okay with Jamie. Diane asked about contour. Okay, let me scroll back and get that. I missed that question. I'm sorry, Diane. Catherine, could you put that question in there because I'm not finding it? That's true, Jamie. I could do that. I'm looking for the question in caps and I don't see it. I'm just going to go over it until somebody can post that question for me. Guys, if you wanted to contour and make this heart solid again, or if you wanted to close some of this in, if you click on your contour tool, what that does is it's going to take and hide all of those spaces. So you can basically make like a shadow layer. She has no clue about it. But that's basically what your contour is going to do. If you have a an image and there's something on that image that you don't want, you can get rid of it by using that contour tool. Oh yes, there is, if it will let me post this, there's the playlist of all of it, and contour is covered. That's all of the Design Space videos that I did. So you can go to that list right there, and contour is on there. Hi Carrie, welcome. But yes, I do cover contour. Contour is going to be your best friend when you want to take something out of an image. Or if you've welded something in and it didn't weld quite right and left you just a teeny tiny space in there and you didn't want to have to cut it or anything and you wanted to get rid of it, contour will take care of that. Let me just show you guys. Let me weld it. And let's say that I didn't want that little sliver right there. I could go in and select that and contour and click that out and fill it back in. And then you can go back and undo that. I don't want to mess this file up because this is the file for you guys. Okay guys, I appreciate everybody joining me. Thank you Patreons, thank you moderators. I will see you guys over in the group. If you have questions that you forgot to ask, please come to the groups and ask them, and we will see you again next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And as always, these videos, these lives are viewable a couple hours after they close. It takes them just a little bit to process them. Thanks guys, enjoy your pillows.